Hi, kindergarten, first and second grade leaders. We are preparing for June 30th. This week we're looking at David, little shepherd David, being anointed. So we're going to jump a big portion of scripture in this lesson this week. I think we're covering, it's 2 chapters in Samuel, but there's a lot of things that happen in those 2 chapters. And so let me review for you really quick where we're going and where we've come from. Last week, remember, we talked about Israel's want of a king. And so God provided Saul as Israel's king. And God's not happy with Saul or his leadership and how he's leading. And so God tells Samuel to go to Bethlehem to meet Jesse. And when he gets to Bethlehem, then God would show Samuel which of Jesse's sons God was going to provide as the next king. When Samuel gets there, he meets Jesse's oldest son, who is big and tall and handsome, and I would expect strong. And Samuel is very convinced that that is who God has chosen for him. But this is what God tells Samuel in 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse number 7. He says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Don't judge by his appearance or height, for I have rejected him.'" The Lord doesn't see things the way you see them. People judge by outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. I'm sure that you've heard this verse before. One of the things we need to keep in mind as we consider this verse, not only our opinions towards people based on outward appearances or outward actions, but also knowing that God was helping the Israelites see that he was going to provide this Savior King that they needed, but it wasn't going to be necessarily the way they were the things that they were expecting. He wasn't necessarily going to be the handsome man. He wasn't necessarily going to have earthly wealth. He wasn't necessarily going to defeat all of the armies through battle. That wasn't the kind of king that he was providing for them. And so he's preparing them, even at this time, to begin to look for the inside, which is what God is helping decide is what builds a king and a kingdom. But not only that, us as Christ followers. So really big picture question there. We're also going to see this week that David goes to battle with Goliath. And remember, David's a little guy and Goliath is 9 feet, 9 inches tall and huge. But because David trusted God and he knew that God would be there for him, all he had was 3 small stones. And he threw those 3 stones and David and Goliath went down with just 1 stone hitting him, to prove that God was directing David's steps. God was there to take care of David, and that he had a plan bigger possibly than anybody else could see. All right, your social activity today, you're going to have a bag full of money and some forks, and they are like kitchen forks for a reason, because they hold up better with what we need them to do. I'm going to try in this video to show you what you're going to do. I don't know how well this is going to work. Your Minute to Win It games, you're going to split your group into 2 teams, and this is just so that you can get through the games faster, honestly. And so with your 2 teams, each kid is going to get 1 complete minute by themselves to complete the task, and then you're going to count how many times they've completed the task and put that on your scorecard that looks like this. I know I messed up the scorecards. You really don't need to write each other's name on there unless you really want to. All you need to have is team 1 and team 2. And so what you're going to do is lay your fork on your table with the prongs up, just like you would if you're setting the table. And what kids are going to do, and again, I'm trying to do this holding it in the air for our video. What the kids are going to try to do is roll one of the coins on the tabletop into and it can be done because I've done this on a tabletop. It's just really hard to do here. They're going to try to roll it into the prongs. Can you see? Into the prongs of the fork. And you're going to count how many coins they got into the prongs in their minute time. Remember, this is a team game, and so not everybody's going to get a lot, and many people are only going to get one, maybe two, but team together, working together is what helps them get all of their points, and then you can award a winner at the very end. Then we'll do large group time. And then we'll move into small groups. And in small groups, you're going to have a roll of paper that looks like this. And 9:30 and 11 o'clock service will use the same paper because you don't really need it for too much. The kids aren't going to take it home. They can color on it if they want to, but really you're just using this as a measuring stick. And so it's already marked, if you see, 9 feet, 9 inches on both sides of the paper. What you're going to do is lay the paper down on the floor, and then you're going to get kids to lay on the paper and measure them, just like you would at home in a door frame. You're going to measure it on the piece of paper, and then you can talk to kids about what they think might be 9 feet or 9 inches tall. You could, if you wanted to, measure out one kid and then mark where their head is, and then put another kid with their feet where the head mark was, and let them go and see if two kids stacked together equal Goliath, or if you're going to need 3 kids stacked together to make Goliath. I think you understand what I'm talking about. If not, ask me. I'll be happy to show you what I was thinking on that. And then you're going to take, in your bag, you have some tape measures. And take your tape measures and measure how tall each kid is. It says to put their name on a piece of tape. I'll make sure that you have some tape with you if you want to. You could also just write it on the piece of paper. You don't necessarily have to write it on tape unless you think that's easier. And then you guys can see who's the tallest and who's the shortest. And maybe if you've done this with your kids in the past, I don't think we've done this in quite a while, you can notice how tall they are now, especially if you have some that are a little bit more conscious about how tall they are or they're not. Then you're going to use I recommend that you use the words that are printed in your What You Say section to help direct kids on why we're doing this and why we're talking about this. I'll just point out that David did not look like a king or a mighty warrior, but God chose him to be king over Israel and gave him victory over Goliath. The Israelites were too weak and afraid to face Goliath. They needed David to fight on their behalf. And you might point out that David probably was not too much older than they are right now, which means he wasn't too much taller than they are right now. And so in a similar way, though Jesus did not look like a warrior or king, we need him to fight for us. Jesus gives us victory over sin and death. And you can remind him of the bottom line for the day that we can trust and follow Jesus because he forgives us. Then your memory verse activity, you were going to have, this is just a piece of paper, but you have stickers. What you're going to do is put your stickers on one sticker on each kid, and what they're supposed to do is line themselves up in a line to be able to say the memory verse together. In fact, once you have them in a line, maybe they say the words that are on their sticker to help them learn the memory verse. It goes in this order. No one is like you, Lord. You are great, and your name is mighty in power, Jeremiah 10:6. And then you can pray and spend a little extra time with your kids until their parents come to get them. I just want to tell you guys, you are doing a remarkable job of leading kids. And we're doing such a remarkable job that we are seeing big growth even through the summertime. We have not hit necessarily a low point yet this summer. We're still over 240, between 240 and 280 kids a weekend at the Parkway Victoria campus, which means we need some extra hands around. The areas that we need most hands right now is greeting at the front doors, at all of the other doors, and our check-in team. We also need extra hands in the rooms, but I'm going to keep working on that and inviting people to do that. If you know of somebody who is a friend of yours or a family member who would like to come serve with you, or maybe a spouse who doesn't want to necessarily be in a classroom with kids, but they'd love to stand out and greet people and still go to service, all of our greeters are able to, once we all get settled in, to go to service most weeks. And so that if they can get there early and help us greet and then stay until about 10-15 after, and then they're able to go and be a part of the worship service. It's really a great first experience for a lot of people in serving at Parkway. And we'll also, of course, need people in the rooms. But I'm going to keep working on that. I promise you, I'm going to keep working on that. We had many people that needed to step out this summer because of health issues. And so I'm going to continue to try to find people who are willing and ready to step in and give their all. But if you know someone, family, friend, older sibling who's like 7th or 8th grade, or even a high school or college age kid, we'd love for them to come serve with us and to get a taste of learning and growing as we all learn these Bible stories together. Let me know or ask them to come with you. I'll talk to you soon.